Good morning, everyone. I'm San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I'm pleased to be joined today by a number of my colleagues from the City Council, Councilmember Elo-Rivera, Councilmember Raul Campillo, and we're in his district this morning, District 6, Councilmember Chris Cate. We also have other trusted leaders in the community as well as some great community groups. San Diego Unified School Board trustee Sabrina Bazo is here, as well as representatives from a host of organizations. I'm going to run through them quickly. Team Enough, the Blue Heart Foundation, Mana de San Diego, City Heights Youth for Change, UCSD Spaces, Mid-City Can, San Diego Pride, and UCSD Center for Community Health Youth Advisory Council. Thank you all so much for being here this morning to make this important announcement for our city. So we're here at James Madison High School, a proud alumni of this campus. This is where it all started for me. I ran my student body president campaign from here. I learned a thing or two about organizing, about community service, about public service. And it was through that experience that I know personally that young people have strong opinions, have great ideas, and the opportunity to effectuate change. I got involved in my community very early, volunteering on political campaigns, neighborhood cleanups, the list goes on and on. And it's through that experience I knew that I had something I wanted to give back to my community, and I know very specifically that I was not alone. Many of my classmates also had something to contribute. And the question is there a vehicle for them to contribute back to our city? Today, I'm proud to announce that we will actually have a vehicle for folks to do that by reestablishing our city's Youth Commission. Let me be clear. You hear people say all the time that young people are our future. I respectfully disagree. They are a part of our present. They have opinions, ideas, solutions that we as a city ought to welcome, ought to invite to the table, ought to make space for in order to help us guide decision-making in the city. With the reestablishment of the City of San Diego's Youth Commission, that seat at the table will now be available. With the help of our city's Office of Boards and Commissions, we are standing up the commission again. It was originally established in 2002 and unfortunately has been defunct since 2015. With the help of the Office of Boards and Commissions, we are launching a recruitment drive to ask interested young people to come forward and apply to serve. This new and improved commission will be made up of young people ages 14 to 22 who live in the city of San Diego and who are civically minded and want to make a difference in our community. Our youth commissioners will advise the mayor's office, the city council, and other city departments on youth-centered issues in the city of San Diego, such as providing quality programming at our parks and our libraries, helping young people find entry-level jobs to start their careers, or other needs that may be unmet, things that we haven't considered, things that we likely wouldn't consider if young people weren't at the table raising their issues. So, as I mentioned, some of you might think 14 is a little young. I would respectfully disagree. Attending this high school is when I got my start. I will even point out I got started even a little earlier than that. At the age of 10, I was a runner-up in the Mayor for the Day contest here in the city of San Diego. I would tell you, I think I turned out okay. I hope you all would agree. And the point is that there's nothing unique about me. I'm just a nerdy kid from Claremont that managed to take his passion in public service and find an outlet for it. And I'm grateful I had a city that had a Mayor for the Day contest, that allowed young people to volunteer, that there was a bus stop just a block from here that I could hop on that bus and go anywhere in the city that I wanted to go to lend whatever talents and ideas and solutions that I had. The idea is to make sure there are more stories like mine, because again, I'm not unique. A lot of these young people are already making tremendous impacts in their community. That's why I say they're not our future, they are our present, and we have to take advantage of that incredible talent and put it to the use of our city. So if you're a young person that's interested, I encourage you to apply. Go to onboard.sandiego.gov to apply. Today, the reactivation of the Youth Commission makes me hopeful for a brighter future for San Diego, a future that truly works for all of us. And with that, I've had incredible partners in this effort, all of whom are here today. I want to specifically acknowledge and thank Councilmembers Ila Rivera, Campillo, and Cate for their partnership in this effort. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce and welcome to the podium Councilmember Ela Rivera, a longtime youth advocate whose presence on the City Council is helping to change the game at City Hall. Sean, come up and give us a few words, would you please?
Thank you, Mayor. And I might have not been runner-up for Mayor in the Day, but I also was a nerdy kid as well. My guess is that most of the council would join you in that label. Good morning, everyone. This is a fun thing to be a part of and a great day. The potential of youth is limitless. That potential, however, must be cultivated and it must be supported. Last month, we took a crucially important step of establishing the Office of Child and Youth Success, which will involve young people in critical decision-making in ways that will more meaningfully and intentionally engage them. And now, thanks to the mayor, we're bringing back the Youth Commission to further demonstrate our commitment to current and future generations of San Diegans and provide a space where our youth can shape and guide our city with their expertise. These two avenues are just the start in truly transforming our region into where our youth are centered, our efforts are coordinated, and we are building a community where every young person has the full opportunity to realize their potential. I want to start by recognizing that the work of this commission is already taking place from outside of city government. Young leaders throughout the city are organizing, advocating, rallying, working, and doing. From the Mid-City Can Youth Council to City Heights Youth for Change, Sunrise Movement, March for Our Lives, and dozens of others, including those here today, there's been extraordinary mobilization of our youth to take action. When I was executive director of Youth Will, I saw the brilliance of our city's young people every single day. I'm just going to share, I have had the privilege since turning 18 of being able to work with young folks. 9 years as a high school coach, I was able to teach abroad, and then in my role at Youth Will. And in each of those spaces, I was the recipient of most of the benefits, I must say. I learned so much. And last year was probably the greatest example of that. Amidst a pandemic, when the rug was being pulled out from young people in terms of their support, they were being robbed of experiences that all of us took for granted, from school dances to graduations to summer programming. And they were working hard to protect their community. And more importantly, from my perspective, they were providing ideas based on their unique worldview, and that is unclouded by some of the cynicism and bad things that adults tend to see and be inclined to thinking about first. That optimism that they have is critical to us building a better and stronger society for everyone. And we should lean into that. The reconstruction of the Youth Commission is going to enfranchise hundreds of thousands of San Diegans, young San Diegans, who for too long have been forced to express their voice from the outside. We have a lot of work ahead of us in the rebirth of the Youth Commission. This must be a community-led, youth-driven process that makes young people feel welcome to share their ideas and expertise. Youth and young adults must not only be involved in the commission itself, but in its formation. So I am grateful again to the leadership of the mayor in stepping up to take on this challenge, and look forward to working with everyone here to make the commission a reality. I will echo the mayor's invitation for young people to get involved. And the only thing I will add to that is, if you are not someone who's been able to participate in student government or have not seen yourself in those roles, your voices are important too. Sometimes the folks who have not been formally involved, it's most important to have you be part of the process. So if you have ideas, if you've looked from afar and said, they're not the only ones with good ideas, they're not the only ones who care, step up, be part of this. I'm now going to step aside and make some space for Councilmember Campillo, who has been an awesome partner in terms of championing youth and children at the city. I'm super excited to continue to work with him on that. Councilmember Campillo, come on up.
Thank you, Councilmember Ila Rivera. And thank you so much, Mayor, for having us here today, and for your leadership, and to the folks of Madison High School. It just dawned on me that this place is apropos, since James Madison was involved in the American Revolution as a late teen, involved in framing our Constitution as a young adult. So if there is a person in our history who's a better model for youth involvement in shaping the way our history comes out, then James Madison is the person. Mayor Gloria, your reliable advocacy for our youth shows your dedication to being a voice for the voiceless, and your commitment to truly making San Diego a great place for us all to live. And investing in our youth now ensures that we will have a strong society and a strong economy for generations to come in San Diego. And this is exactly the kind of action we are referring to when we say we need to empower our communities and empower our young adults, our youth, and our children. And so I'm proud to stand here today as an advocate for our youth and as a former 5th grade teacher who thinks about his students every single day, I have seen firsthand the life-changing effects that investing and empowering our young people can have. And since I took office 8 months ago, fighting for San Diego children and families has been a top priority of mine. And so I was honored to have many of the folks here today as partners in our recent effort to get the new Office of Child and Youth Success into our fiscal year 2022 budget. And this office will act as a primary point of contact and as a clearinghouse for information for children and families who are in need of our services in our city. Everything our city has to offer and that they need help accessing will go through this office, and it will empower our youth. Mayor Gloria, your commitment to make San Diego a more inclusive city for all of us is reflected in reactivating the Youth Commission. Representation matters, and all too often the voices of our youth are underrepresented and not heard at all in our decision-making process, and it's time to change that. And so I'm grateful to the reactivation of the Youth Commission, which will facilitate the participation of children, youth, and young adults and their families and local government, and provide us as a city with the opportunity to hear their concerns and then take action on them. I think the key word that I think about today as we reactivate the Youth Commission is empowerment. This is about youth empowerment. And at this moment in history, when we have leaders, young leaders, people like Naomi Osaka and Simone Biles, who are amplifying the voices and the concerns that so many young people have right now in our world, we have to let people in the city of San Diego know, and the young people in the city of San Diego know, that their government leaders are listening to them, and we are empowering them, and we are ready for them to take the reins of leadership and help us form a city that works for all of us. So thank you very much, Mayor Gloria, and thank you so much for having us here, and thank you to Councilmembers Cate and Elo-Rivera for their support in this last year's budget to help us have that Office of Child and Youth Success. With that, I'm pleased to introduce my colleague from District 6, Councilmember Chris Cate.
Thank you, Councilmember Campillo, and thank you, Councilmember Ila Rivera, as well as Mayor Gloria. And good morning, everybody, and welcome to District 6. The last time I was at Madison High School for a formal announcement was when I was here with the students of Madison High School to unveil the new street sign of Warhawk Way. The student body worked with our office to rename their school's street. Warhawk Way was their idea. It was their suggestion, and they worked to see it all the way through. From day one of my first term, we've always listened, heard, and took to heart the comments and suggestions from our youth. Our youth are our eyes and ears in our neighborhoods. They're the ones playing in our parks. They're the ones reading books in our libraries, and they're the ones that are walking to schools on our sidewalks. Investing in our youth will lead to a better tomorrow. And as a father of 3, I am proud to be a part of an action that will allow for my children, when they grow up, to have a voice, have a platform where they can express their beliefs, their ideas, their suggestions, and their solutions. So I commend Mayor Gloria for ensuring that youth voices are being heard and restoring the Youth Commission. And with that, I'd like to introduce Perl Casarpolido with Mana de San Diego.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Perl Casarpolido, and I am a Mana de San Diego Hermanita. I've been in the Hermanitas program since 8th grade, and I'm also an incoming senior here in San Diego. Being a young leader is important because as leaders, we are able to advocate for ourselves and our generation. In addition, there is an absence of young voices in leadership, and we too deserve a seat at the table. If our opinions aren't taken into consideration now, we'll have more work to do in the future. We, the next generation of leaders, will have to live with the decisions that are being made by our government today. Having a youth commission means that the young leaders are being looked at to step up and lead. It means that youth leaders have a voice and that they are being heard. Mayor and the city council members here today are providing us the opportunity to advocate for ourselves and our communities. I want to thank the mayor and the city council members for wanting to hear our voices, the voices of young leaders. Now, I'd like to introduce Kirin Makabugay, San Diego City College professor and Southwestern Community College district trustee.
Throughout the years, I have had the great honor of working and learning from generations of communities across our state. Listening as people share what is important to them, what drives them, what they celebrate, and what they mourn. In my conversations with our younger folks, there are common threads. They feel anxious at times. They feel overwhelmed with the pressures of school and family and work. And during the pandemic, they missed their friends. They missed having places to go. But what concerns me most is when young people tell me they don't feel heard, that they don't feel understood, or worse, that they feel like they don't have power. And all of us are standing here today to tell them that is not the case. Not only do our youth have great power, they have talent, they have unique perspectives and insight that only their generation hold. And all these challenges that they face and that they're going to continue to face have made them incredibly resilient and courageous, even if they don't realize it just yet. As a community college professor, I tell my students, many who are first generation students, many who are undocumented and fighting to be in those classrooms every day, many who are experiencing homelessness or are impacted by our justice system, I tell them never to lose hope and to never accept when people say to you, this is just the way things are. And when I see my students not give up, when they tell me so happily that they were accepted to university or they got that job they've been wanting, or they just feel like they're where they're supposed to be, my heart explodes. Because seeing them one step closer to their dreams tells me that we, as a society, are going to be okay. One of my favorite quotes is, a society grows great when the old plant trees in whose shade they will never sit. We recognize all of us here have stood on the shoulders of those before us, and we recognize that for our generation, we need to square our shoulders for those coming after. We must carve out spaces for our youth to lead, and more importantly, we must provide those soft spaces for them to land when things get tough. This commission will be one way for our youth to be heard, to help drive our governance, and to assure that our city not just cares for our youth, but uplifts them. And so as a teacher, as a mother, I hope you will join me and others here today as we plant this tree for the generations after us. And to our youth, I see you. I may never fully understand what it is you are going through, but your experiences, your voice, your heart are valid, and your time is now. I'd like to welcome back to the podium our Honorable Mayor, Todd Gloria.
Kieran, thank you so much, and thank you to all of our speakers. Just wrap up by saying I want to extend my appreciation again to my council colleagues, Cate, Campillo, Ila Rivera, not just for their support of the Youth Commission, but for young people in general. And I want to link up a couple of things because we're making the announcement today about our Youth Commission. And some might say, well, that's nice. It's an advisory group. You know, these are young people engaging for sharing their opinions. But I want you to be very, very clear. The city's also stepping up to put real dollars and real staffing behind this particular effort, or the effort of trying to empower our young people. As Councilmember Ila Rivera and Councilmember Campillo mentioned, in this year's budget, we established an Office of Child and Youth Success. We are currently, we're starting the process of recruiting a staff member to lead that effort, and that's going to be the initiative owner of ultimately overlooking the Youth Commission, as well as every initiative around youth and children's in our city. This council, at my request, also dramatically increased summer youth programming that is currently going on at city parks and recreation centers. This is a part of our overall relief efforts, but on a go-forward basis, asking for the Youth Commission's opinion on which centers do we work with, what kind of programming would they be interested in. Making sure that we're tailoring it to their actual interests and needs is going to be critical. But again, those are dollars that are committed, as well as in this budget, a greater investment in youth employment through our Connect to Career programs. This was dramatically increased in the budget to make sure that young people who want to find a first-time job that hopefully leads to a good career, that they can do that. And with the city's help, we're making sure more can. So this is a part of a comprehensive effort to make sure that young people are seen, heard, and supported in the city of San Diego. And my last comment I just want to make is that I recognize that the city is assistive in this effort. It is our schools that do this work day in and day out. I deeply appreciate San Diego Unified, not only for being a host for us here today, but for their partnership. While we may not have the direct responsibility around education, curriculum, teachers, things of that nature, you'll never hear any of these council members or this mayor say that's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to build a great city, and you can't have a great city without great schools. And I appreciate the partnership with San Diego Unified on days like today, on more joint use fields in our communities to expand the amount of park space that are in neighborhoods. The list goes on and on. When we work together, more can get done, and that's a good thing. And lastly, I would just conclude with a little bit of nostalgia. If you're forgiven, we can forgive it from an old guy. I know you all have been standing in the sun a while, but I just want to say the importance of mentorship. What I think is really great about the Youth Commission is the opportunity to interface with our boards and commission staff, great people like Matt Gordon, who in his spare time is a mentor to a lot of young people in our community. But to formalize that, to give young people who serve on the commission the opportunity to interface with talented public servants who will take their ideas and make them real. I will just tell you, I'm thinking today about Coach David Ose, who was our student body advisor here at Madison High School. He would want me to say right now, it's a great day to be a war hawk, because that's what he would walk around saying all day long. That man taught me how to sell more Flamin' Hot Cheetos to make sure that we could pay for the senior prom. This came useful in government later on. I think about Sergeant Major Randy Pender, my JROTC instructor, who took a kid that couldn't ever publicly speak without saying a whole lot, and got that out of my system and set me on a way to be able to do things like what I'm doing right now. I think about the transformative efforts of adults who meaningfully engage young people. And I hope that all these young people have a mentor in their lives. I know that folks like me who've benefited from mentors know that we have a responsibility to pay it back as we grow up. And I'm hopeful this commission will create tighter bonds, intergenerational bonds, to make sure that we are teaching those who come behind us, but that we're also listening to them to make the path forward for them a bit easier. That's what today is about. If done successfully, and I believe we will be successful, we will be a better city because of it. Thank you all for being here today. I'm going to wrap up by saying we're happy to do one-on-ones with anyone who wants them, except we're going to do them in the shade, okay? Thank you all so much for being here today. I think this is a good day for our city. Thank you.